at least not necessarily half, but like almost like a quarter of the Rumble or more, you could see at that point being like, yeah, they could realistically challenge for either of the titles at this point. But so the Goldberg Drew match, really short. One thing that got me was I had to wait for commentary to confirm it, because when I saw it, like my mouth opened a bit, because I literally was starting to think, and it wasn't until commentary confirmed it for me. Goldberg was the first person since Brock at WrestleMania to kick out of the Claymore.
I wasn't surprised that he did it, because the second he hit it, I don't know why I held out for something different. I don't know why up until this point I'm still thinking this Goldberg match wasn't going to be a Goldberg match. But yeah, the second he hits the Claymore, I know the match isn't done.
Yeah.
Because we're going to have a couple of each of their finishing moves before we call it a day.
Yeah, and I think that's what really got to me was like they wasted it here because it's a person like me thinking back to like a lot of different moments in history and like past, where they usually, what was it, 2018's the Super Showdown, Murphy versus Alexander, where Murphy was the first person like since I think like the beginning of the year to kick out of the lumbar check. Okada versus Omega was solely built on if either man hits their finishers, it's over, things like that.
AEW, they're building it up now. The one-winged angel is impossible to kick out of, and there's who people are pegging to be the one to do it this year.
I've heard Hangman. Is that
it's your boy Hangman Page? They think he's gonna come up, challenge him, and stun the world. Can you imagine the difference? Like the palpable difference it'll be when Hangman kicks out of the one-winged angel and Goldberg kicking out of the Claymore.
Yeah, which is why it upset me a bit, because I was like you've literally had everyone fall to it. The moment this has been hit, you knew it was the end. Rollins gets hit with it, it was the end. Lashley got hit with it was the end. Ziggler got hit with it was the end. Orton in all the matches they had, got hit with the Claymore and it was over. AJ got hit with the Claymore and it was over. Technically he got hit with the Claymore and it was over, even though it was a ladder match, Keith Lee got hit with the Claymore and it was over. So it was like...
And did you say Lesnar kicked out of it?
Yeah, Lesnar was the last one to kick out of it at Mania. So, in my mind, I was like, obviously it's not like no one's kicked out of it. It's just that it's been so long since someone's kicked out of it. It would have been nice to save it for a Rumble moment with whoever was going to be facing Drew, to get that sort of rub.
Yeah, I dig it. But yeah, this was a clumsy affair. Spears, a jackhammer. I'm not sure who to put the blame on that jackhammer. I don't know if Drew's supposed to keep his legs up for longer or if it was just Goldberg being an older man, not his younger self.
Yeah.
Mercifully, Drew pins him. 1, 2, 3. And actually, I am more enthralled by what happens after the match than I was the 3 minutes before the bell. I mean, before the final bell.
So Drew retains, and him and like Goldberg kind of hug it out,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I caught myself like really enjoying that exchange. Goldberg raising his hand, Goldberg kind of shaking his hand, recognizing him as a true champ, and he looked just exasperated because I don't know, there was every part of that was real. I'm like, yeah, he's an old man who's gassed out, like Drew had a laugh. I think he was like, "You okay, man?" And it was like, even in 3 minutes, the poor guy just like he I think his character was supposed to be, I've been bested by the best. And I think the real man was like, I've been bested by the best. And that was kind of cool. I'm glad they kept the camera running.
Yeah. And so then the next match is Sasha versus Carmella for the SmackDown Women's Championship.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was again another good, decent match, but it kind of felt redundant to me just because, we saw it at TLC and everything.
Yeah, I don't think there was anything too different from their TLC match, which itself was also good.
Yeah. And again, like it was just a good match. Not anything like really big, because obviously when you have the 2 Rumble matches, that's when you're going to be going all out. But Carmella went all out and had a scary dive. I don't know if you caught that when that happens. That was really scary, because she almost landed full on her neck with the dive out to Sasha.
Was intense, for sure. By then they had kicked out her sommelier, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really wild, like, how quickly Carmella starts complaining about the sommelier getting kicked out. And I go, well, I guess everyone's okay. Good.
Yeah, like, the moment I saw her, like, pop up with me, like, it was funny, because you see kind of, like, Sasha, like, kind of, like, tapping Carmella, and I guess that was Sasha letting Carmella know she was okay, but I was like, I wonder, like, where's the indicator that Carmella is okay after that dive? And the indicator was she popped back up like it was nothing and threw her right back
I caught that, too. It's kind of weird, right? I think I've heard in the past that they squeeze each other's hands.
Yeah.
Ref comes by, takes your hand. If you squeeze it, you're okay. If you don't, the implication is that you're not even in a capacity to squeeze a person's hand. So it looked like she was squeezing. You're right. We couldn't have at least camera evidence that Carmella was the same. Don't worry, she pops up and starts screeching at the referee.
Yeah. But again, just kind of going fast because bigger things to cover. But I will say before we move on, because Sasha the next wins. Sasha retains. The next match is the Women's Rumble. I just want to say, I feel like Sasha is a bit of fresh air when it comes to main roster champions, at least to me. Just because, so far, the matches she's been in, the feud she's been in, it's been really, like, refreshing. Like, I actually kind of, like, look forward to a lot of her matches,
Agreed.
And, like, it gives me the same sense as, like, when I'm watching Io on NXT. It's like, I look forward to whatever title defense match he has or anything like that.
Like you had said, though, about the redundancy, I really wish WWE would just, like, call it and say, you know what, on the road to WrestleMania, the champions aren't going to defend. For January and February, we're in a holding pattern until WrestleMania. Put them in, like, tag team matches, just put them in, like, exhibition matches, or put them in a match against somebody who could really prove something, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, when's the last time the title's been exchanged at a Royal Rumble? Actually, I think Becky beat Asuka. No, Asuka beat Becky at a Royal Rumble, didn't she?
No, she won at TLC and then went against Becky.
And Becky lost?
Yeah, and then she went into the Rumble.
Right. Okay, so Asuka was defending.
Yeah. So, it has been a while, because I'm thinking back. I don't remember it changing. I don't remember any titles changing hand at 2016, except in the Rumble itself to Triple H. 2017, in terms of the women's, I don't think it changed. Neither did 18, 19, 20. Yeah,
it's, like, is Kevin Owens going to main event WrestleMania? I would like that, but it's not going to happen. So, I mean, come on now. Or will he? We'll see when we go over that match.
Yeah, and, like, before we move on, like, this is, like, points where I wish WWE would take pages out of what they're doing with NXT, where they give those breaks in between where it's not a constant thing, Like, if they cut just, like, a little bit of their pay-per-views, I think it would make the product feel fresher, because at that point, you don't have to worry about, do we have a match planned at the next pay-per-view? Well, let's have a DQ finish on pay-per-view here so that they can have this match again at the next one.
Yeah.
Where instead, if they had this break, like you propose, Sasha beats Carmella at TLC, and then we don't get a redo of a match, and instead either get a fresh match, or as you propose, just simply no title defenses to truly build that Mania feel.
Agreed.
But so, speaking of building to Mania, building the Mania feel, the Women's Royal Rumble. So, going in, like, who did you think was winning, or who were your picks?
Before the match started, who did I think? For as many contenders as you said could have won it, I don't think I had anybody in mind. the second Bailey comes out at number 1, I honestly thought, oh, she could take the whole thing, and then we'd have Bailey Sasha at WrestleMania. Sign me up, you know. So that's where my head was. How about you?
So, it was really tough because I was explaining to my dad. My dad wanted Bianca to win because he was the only one that like he knew, like confirmed, like of who like he likes, you know, that was going to be in it. And I was saying, you know, yes, I can really see Bianca winning it. They're really pushing her, you know.
They talked her up something big on the pre-show.
Yeah, and so I told my dad, I have 2 picks, and one of them you're probably going to agree with me because you probably didn't even think they were going to be in here, even though it's kind of been obvious due to their absence on a certain other brand. And so I told him, it's either Bianca or it's going to be Rhea making her main roster debut through the Rumble. And I told him I wouldn't mind either winning because these 2 women, I would not mind if you strapped a rocket to their back and pushed them from day one.
Yeah, especially Rhea, who's done gosh darn near everything in NXT there's to do. She lost to what's her name?
Raquel
Gonzalez in a big old way, and you think that's it, that's her swan song, right? She's done here, she's graduated, let's go.
Yeah, and I was even telling my dad, I'm like, you know, obviously people were thinking when that first happened, they were like, oh, whoa, it's 1-1, they gotta settle it, you know. But I was like, no, that's the perfect way to write off Ripley off of NXT.
Settle it when she comes up too. We've been talking for like a year of Rhea coming up since like WrestleMania. She lost the title. Is she coming up? June and then your house. Is she coming up?
Yeah. And that's why I told my dad, I'm like, and look, they're technically doing future story building because now whenever Raquel gets called up, you can say, hey, it's 1-1 between us. But so those were my picks, and so yes, we start off. Bailey was number 1, and Naomi returning at number 2.
Naomi needs to see her. Yep.
Yeah, and so they start going at it. And when number 3 came out, my dad actually said, you know, no, too early because again, in our eyes, it being like the pick, like again, I think she could go the distance, but at the same time, I was like, something tells me they're throwing her in early, like. In a sense, like a Daniel Bryan situation back in 2015. They're throwing her in early, probably having her getting like eliminated midway, so like that the fans get like outraged there, and then hopefully don't mind whoever wins.
Not draw outrage, but you maybe think, well, if she isn't going to win it, they'll tout the fact that she was in it for so long and she eliminated a bunch of people. You know, maybe she'll beat her record last year, tied with Shayna Baszler.
Yeah, but yes, Bianca Belair comes out at number 3. And, you know, she immediately starts getting into it with Bailey because this entire time she's been claiming she wants to be the one that eliminates Bailey.
That's right. I heard that. That's something on SmackDown she's been talking up.
Yeah. And so just really quickly running through the list, and again, running through the quick moment.
We're going to run through them quick. I think we have to spend a second on number 4.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Billie Kay coming out at number 4.
Because she doesn't enter the ring. And she's not a part of the Rumble until she enters the ring, but she makes a beeline for the announcer's desk, and she's touting her resume, her headshot, and what she wants to do is wait for somebody to join forces with her so that they can go in together. And what happens is every other entrant from here on out, she walks up to and tries to pitch the partnership with varying to negative results. It was incredible, Jack.
Yeah, and so she's sitting there, and then number 5 comes out, Shotzi Blackheart from NXT, and I was really glad they brought the tank. Billie Kay
walks up to her, trying to make friends.
Shoots a rocket at her.
And like Billie goes back to the announcer's desk and just sort of says, I don't think she wanted in on this, you know. She shot a rocket at me. I took the hint. If that was a hint, I took the hint.
And I like how, like, I think it was either Phillips or Lawler, one of the two, was like, you seem flustered, and she goes, she shot a rocket at my head. It almost hit me. But then Shayna comes out at 6, and she tries to get Shayna, but Shayna I think she beats her up, but, like, doesn't throw her in.
Just knocks her down, yeah.
And then 7, Toni Storm from NXT.